puberty hits, we become more mature, independent, and even learn through our failures. However, we go through so many emotions. How does that happen? That's because of adolescence. Adolescence is when we change from kids to adults. During puberty, chemicals called hormones start to make our body change. Hormones cause us to be emotional, and our brain changes too. Let me show you parts of the brain that change.
So I explained this diagram a little easier by slicing the brain in half. So this is the right hemisphere. Here are the specific changes going on. First, there is the prefrontal cortex, and that's way in the front of our brains. It takes a long time to mature since it stops growing at our early 20s. And that's probably why teens show poor judgment, like screaming at their parents or hitting their sibling. The next part is the limbic system, and that shows two parts, the amygdala and the hypothalamus. The amygdala is responsible for our emotions and our emotional responses to other people. The hypothalamus, that controls our hormone system, which is probably why hormones cause us to become moody. To point that the prefrontal cortex and the limbic system probably make some important legal implications. They make some important legal implications, like should we charge towards teens as we do to adults when committing crimes. And before I move on to this part over here, ask yourself this question: should teens get the same treatment as adults, like death, execution, or prison life when committing serious crimes? Think about it. The last specific change that I want to talk about is the corpus callosum. That is the connection between hemispheres, and that is right over here. Now let's move on to the global changes. If you're wondering what global changes means while I'm explaining the brain changes during adolescence, that means it is all over your brain. During adolescence, myelination, we learn faster. Also, where neurons communicate with each other. People also think that during adolescence, it's time of synaptic pruning, and that's when it cuts down weak connections. That might sound bad, but if you actually think about it, you become more productive and do things like exercise and focus on academics. If we do more productive things, that actually helps us learn more and mature. Otherwise, we strengthen things that are lazy, like watching TV or watch videos.
Also, during adolescence is when teens want more freedom and want to spend time with their friends. That's when peer pressure starts. Sometimes that's a good thing and a bad thing. All the bad things, for example, are smoking and illegally drinking. Some adolescents don't want to do those bad things, but yet still get pressured by their friends. Sometimes they even get overwhelmed and stressed. If you're ever stressed, talk to someone you're close with. Adolescence can be a hard time, but you can discover things and learn what you want to do in the future. It's a horrific experience, but once you're at the end of it, you're more independent, mature, and confident, and even more like an adult.